It's time for the grey areas with Jason Adams and George Ferrugia.
That kid was a human dynamo.
Are you sure you're talking about George?
George of the jungle, friend to you and me.
And one of our great friends is back in town. Georgie Ferrugia back in the co-hosting seat. Welcome to Grey Areas on this Friday, the staple of your Fridays. Lots to talk about this afternoon on this episode. We'll wrap up what was a good edition of the McKenna Memorial last night at Sandown Park. Dramatical, one like Dramatical so often does. A lot of Victorian stars up at the queue for heat to the Brisbane Cup and also the Queensland Cup tomorrow night. We look forward to that. Group 1's at Wentworth Park. We'll touch on organised crime and his Horsham Cup win last week. The Meadows, Ferrugia Files, Obscure Outlay, and a couple of entertaining clips in between. My name's Jason Adams. Georgie, welcome back. Great to have you here.
Yeah, great to be back, mate. Thanks, Corey, for filling in last week. And, got Jim Bob outside on school holidays, mate. We're rocking and rolling. Hopefully he doesn't make too much noise. Roadblocks will be on loud and clear very soon. And
I know you scanned through the episode from last week, but it doesn't take Corey Smith much to give James Vandermeer a clip. So as he often does in this show, he copped a bit of a clip behind the ears last week. It was
incredible to find some footage before James's voice broke. So that was really interesting.
Lumps of somewhere near his stomach. And then
the shoes come off. So we've got some good footage. You've taken me through to the show today. I'm very excited.
Yep, good stuff ahead. Of course, we encourage everyone to get involved. 0458 675 485. You can text through on that number or you can comment on Facebook or YouTube. We'll see that pop up. Or, of course, you can email at any time as well, greyareas@grv.org.au. Big show ahead, as we mentioned. Of course, what's been flavour of the month in the past couple of weeks has been the World Cup, Georgie. It's hit fever pitch. The Australians are through, and who would have thought the most boring 0-0 draw of all time last Friday would equate into a big event this Saturday morning?
It's essentially, I think, been one of only two games that have been a 0-0 draw in the World Cup. Like, there's been a lot of goals and, yeah. Look, usually I get really excited before these tournaments and have a punt. You know I like a punt, Jason, and probably do my dough. But I've had a really good tournament, like in terms of the teams that I expected to go through. I had them in a multi and they won. I've taken some correct scores. I took Spain to win 3-0 this morning and they won 3-0. I took Mexico to win 2-0 yesterday. So I'm flush at the moment. I'm playing with house money. So
correct scores are outrageous. So what sort of form guide are you going off to place these
I'm just a hunch. And you're usually getting around between $10 and $14. So, you have $50
for the correct score.
Yeah, for the correct score. So it's pretty good. The other one I stuffed up. I took Croatia to win 2-1, but Colombia beat them 2-1. They scored a late goal, but it was disallowed. So, yeah, Aussies tomorrow, 4:00 in the morning. I know. Look, as I said to you, I mean, I'm not a soccer expert or anything, but I've really been right into it. But I did watch the footy last night.
Are you going to get up to watch that game tomorrow?
Definitely. Yeah.
What price are they to win, Australia?
They're about $3.45.
Oh, so they're a live chance.
Yeah, they're not the favourites, but it's not a walkover.
And if they lose, they're out.
Yeah,
it's got to
from
that
this point on, it's all knockout.
Outstanding. And the footy last night.
Continue. I was driving home with the kids and Shez and Nate said to me, "Look at the score, Dad. I think it was 48-3. When's the last time that's happened at Cardinia Park for Geelong?" They clawed their way back into it, but I was speaking to a mate today. Brisbane are just starting to.
They looked good last week. We got the brunt of it. We weren't that good, but you could just see they were starting to get their act together.
They're starting to probably worry the purple team up at the top of the ladder. I don't think they want to see them in the last day of September.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Big second half of the season ahead, and we spoke about the World Cup and everything that's happening there, and a lot of international flavour, isn't there? There's a lot of Australians over in America and it's all sorts of people going to different games.
It's been a crazy World Cup. Yeah, it's so much fun. Yeah.
And I just love it when Australians go overseas and, people go over there and people are getting up at stupid o'clock in the morning. And it just casts my mind back. And we know this is a show that's related to greyhounds, but I guess in a more general sense, dogs. And I just couldn't help but have a memory brought back to me of the 2004 International Rules Series between Australia and Ireland, where there was a dog enter the field. And in what world of an event of this professionalism does a dog get on the field? And he was running around for a couple of minutes.
This is the best part.
The game doesn't stop.
Because on tab, its unders overs for disposals was 4. I reckon it had 3 touches right there. That's incredible. By that Jack Russell. This is the best part. This look, he's had to take it. The key steward had to come. What's on the back? That's hilarious. So that's great footage. I don't know where you dig this footage up from, mate, but that's awesome.
And the comment from Eddie Maguire afterwards was, Ireland's best defender has just been taken off the ground.
What about the umpires go play on? This is so good.
Imagine
That's
that
awesome.
these days, whether it's a dog or whatever runs
Imagine that in the
field,
grand final.
And the game keeps going.
Imagine a
Like we
whippet
stopped the
getting let
game now
loose.
for a bloke with cramp, let alone a dog running on the ground.
God, especially in the soccer, one bloke goes down, they call the medic. Oh, goodness. That's
Epic
awesome.
moment of sport. And just before we move on to the wrap of Sandown last night, we know the theme of the past month has been lookalikes. We've had some absolute belters here on grey areas. And one thing that's been lacking, as you've rightly pointed out, is my ability to take the Mickey Mouse out of myself. Because I run the show, I put it together. So it's very rarely I ended up on the raw end of the stick, the wrong end of the stick. But Jack Smith, who, of course, is one of the bigger names in Australian greyhound racing.
The Mexican killer. Yeah.
Has pointed out one gentleman who he thinks looks like me. Now, this is Tom Cannell from Sky News Australia. Is there some...
I can see it. We need to get a pair of specs like that, and it
I've
would
got
be
some at
an
home.
absolute dead ringer. Even the hair.
I might bring him next week and we'll do a side-by-side. What do you think?
So he's on Sky News and you're on Sky Racing.
Yes.
This is uncanny.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you reckon he's older or younger than me?
Oh, he'd be a touch older than you.
You reckon?
Oh, I'd say mid-30s. What are you? You're
Okay.
late 20s,
31.
Oh, yeah. He's got a couple of years
32.
on you. He's got a World Cup in him, about 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good stuff. We encourage all contributions from the loyal Grey
Thank you,
Areas
Jack.
audience. Thank you, Jack. All right, Sandown last night, of course, was headlined by the McKenna Memorial. It's one of my favourite races for the year. I mean, we very rarely get a chance to have open class heat and finals over the 600-metre range, and we saw a decent set of heats last week, and then the final last night was taken out by Paw Vortex, who jumps from box 3 here. And as soon as Eventuate went forward and led, George, I thought, if she runs a similar race to last week, I don't know what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
If she puts it all together, she wins the race. Unfortunately, she doesn't seem to be firing on all cylinders at this point in time, but it did open up the window for Paw Vortex to sneak through, get underneath, and improve his very good record over 600 metres on what is one of the biggest stages when it comes to the 600-metre racing at Sandown.
You make a good point, Jace. Even down the back, she probably didn't kick away like we know she can. That she just needed to put that 4 or 5 length break on them. And all due respect to Paul Vortex, he was fantastic. He ran her down. Look, he was $15 for a reason. He's won 2 of his last 19 races, Paul Vortex. A terrifically consistent greyhound in terms of racing against very good dogs, breaks 30 at the Meadows. He's a high-quality greyhound, so that's no surprise there. But his recent form, he'd always been finding one a little bit better, but last night was his night. So well done to Team Grenfell winning that. Eventuate, we tipped it on radio. Jason, I just thought she would lead and be very hard to beat. I thought the danger was going to be Nigel de Vere, but just didn't get out all that well. And again, Jace, we keep coming back to it. The advantage you have when you're drawn closer to the fence over the 595 at Sandown. I don't care what anyone says. I mean, it's not impossible to win from a wide draw, but my goodness, Jace. Arana, Xavier, these type of greyhounds, I didn't think there were any chance from the wide draw. I just didn't think they were going to get across.
Dogs like that. I mean, she was a good run, but
yeah,
in a race of that sort of depth, you need the inside.
Even Tripped Out, who was in market, Jace, just you get fanned off on that first corner unless you're absolutely electric. So just take nothing away from their runs. I just think, and the way it finished 3-2-1 with the placing, so no surprise.
Bred and owned by the Wheeler family, and I guess since they've made that transition from the Bale to the Paw Dogs, they haven't really had that out-and-out superstar, and not that Paw Vortex is that. They've just had a real base of consistency of just good operators, and he's a good example of that.
And if you look at that, since I've probably been in the media circles of greyhound racing, they've had peaks and troughs like that right throughout my time in greyhound racing. You know, you have highs like Fernando Bale and Dinah Double One in the same era, and then you have lows. When you say lows, I mean, like you said, they still get a lot of winners, but not that out-and-out absolute superstar.
The other highlights on the night, one of them was Dramatical lining up in race 4, and what a quirk of the grading system, George, to have him going around in a grade 5. Come up with box 1, started the extremely short price favourite and got a paddock to work with, and as expected, got the job done very well.
Incredibly finished $1.60, which just doesn't make sense, doesn't it? I mean, he was $1.18, wasn't he, fixed? So, yeah, look, this was, we said on radio, this was clearly the easiest race he faced probably before his time, before his Australian Cup victory, where he was winning Warragul races on a Thursday. I mean, let's be honest. So that was going to be easy. Again, some good dogs behind him, Paul Quimby, Aston Bugsy. You wouldn't mind owning them. Paul Carver's a talented greyhound, but he just had panels on them.
Yep, that he did. The other race of interest on the night was the free-for-all. It was a pretty good contest in the end. I think it was a ranker outsider, Joragumo from box 1, who just got ahead of poor Oswald, and poor Oswald threatened and threatened, but in the end he held on at a big quote.
Yeah, and I read your article for your tips saying that poor Oswald might be a lay for the race, and that's how it probably worked out.
Well, a little bit. When he was under the pump earlier, I thought, this is going to plan, at least from the way I saw the race, but just a class of him to stand up and get out of that situation. I'll never fail to be surprised by it.
And I'm in hiding from the owners of Avengement because I said that Hillsville run just got him out of the box real nicely. His next 2 starts, he's absolutely bombed the start. So I really apologise, guys. The other one that I want to mention, and he did start pretty short, but was Mapunga Whiskey. I thought he'd be able to lead off box 1. He'd been running 508s, 509s. He comes out and runs 497 early, Jason, 29.45. Of course, this is the full younger brother to Mapunga Reward, who we'll talk about later, racing at the Q. But this litter is showing a little bit. Radar O'Reilly won on the night as well. So, there's no Mapunga Reward in the litter, but I think Barry Smith would be happy with the output.
And to that point of the night, race 9, when Mapunga Whiskey won, there was 7 races conducted over the 515 metres, 7 from 7 from runners from box 1.
Red box specials,
It helps more so there than any other track in Australia.
Yeah, and especially when you can get out like they did. And I mean, even Dramatical, he went 506, I think. He stuck to the fence and was never going to be beaten. So, 7 out of 7. Wow.
Yep, counts for plenty, that is for sure. Comment has come in from Mason Kaufman, who, of course, represents the Grenfell team, the big Texan. How good. Of course, speaking about Paw Vortex. And, Mason, if you're still tuning in, I'd love to get your take on Paw Matic, who, of course, finished down the track in that free-for-all last night. I mean, I just feel like she's knocking on the door, but it's just not getting it all together at this point in time. And we know she burst on the scene in a pretty powerful way, winning that Geelong Cup. But I don't know, she just hasn't really gone on with it yet. I know she's very young. There's a lot ahead of her.
Yeah.
But she just doesn't seem to be that same dog at this point in time.
She might need a couple more starts just to get used to. I mean, she won a Geelong Cup, so it's not like she wasn't racing against very good greyhounds, but she's in constant free-for-all company now, and it's probably tough, but she'll be fine. Yeah,
it's hard yakka. And, of course, good friend of the show, Maddie Fields, got involved. G'day, Legends. G'day to you as well, Maddie.
G'day, Maddie.
Been filthy with that result last night at the Cattery.
Yeah, big Cats fan, but they'll be fine.
Yeah. Okay, that's a wrap of Sandown last night. Of course, we move on to tomorrow night, Queensland, Q2 Parklands, where a lot of Victoria's stars are up there. The likes of Off the Chart, but the meeting kicks off with heats of the Queensland Cup, George, and the stays that we expect to see there are there. Electrify.
Magpie Hector.
Magpie Hector without a trace, but the opening race has Electrify a part of it.
Against Magpie Hector.
Against Magpie Hector. I just envisage Electrify leading and winning this race.
Yeah.
I think Magpie Hector's too short. Slow beginner, wants to move off the track. What's your take?
Yeah, look, the challenge for Electrify from what we've seen so far, he's an unbelievably talented greyhound, is I think if they challenge him early enough, I think then the race is winnable against him. So that's where Magpie Hector comes into the race. But I agree with you. I could see him leading all the way. That's a really good heat though, isn't it? Mapunga Lara's in the race, who's a terrific greyhound. Vodka and Ice is good quality as well. Rupi's Rocket can show a little bit of speed, which might be a fly in the ointment, and so can She's Pekin. So he might not have it all his own way. He's going to have to just be on the ball early.
Race 2, heat 2 of the Queensland Cup without a trace. Now, her last start was at the Pink Diamond. She stumbled out of the boxes. What assessment do you put on her ahead of this?
I was a little bit surprised, and we spoke about it on radio, that she's 750 pre-post. Would you take a little bit of that? I mean, I know you can't gamble, but I mean, if you rewind 4 or 5 months ago, and I know it's easy to say, she wouldn't be 750 pre-post.
She'd be half the price.
Yeah, absolutely. So they're banking on that price that she's been scratchy of late. I mean, she's doing things wrong out of box rides. She's not getting to the front. She broke a track record the start before. I think Connection's coming out saying she's exactly where they want her fitness-wise. Would be a bit of a positive if you have had a bet. So the beauty with her is she hasn't drawn the hardest heat either, Jay. So she should, talking about greyhounds jumping to the front and winning, she should do that. What are your thoughts for tomorrow?
I just think she's making mistakes at the moment. And that might be harsh, but that's what we do for greyhounds who have set a standard as high as what she has. So I'm interested, and I'd love nothing more for her to go to the front and do some serious damage. But I'm just curious about what she's doing at the moment. The following heat, Mapunga Donna, from a Victorian point of view, leads that, meets Aiden's Warrior, the Sandown Cup champ. So that's a pretty handy race. King of Snake, one of yours, is a part of that as well.
Used to be. I sold the greyhound.
Sold him. Okay.
Yeah, Zigzag Man's run was really eye-catching last start too. He came off the bench over 600 metres as a reserve and went really well. So he adds a little bit of flavour to that race. And, of course, Soirees in the race who took out a feature event as well. So very, very interesting heat there. Aiden's Warrior is just going so well at the moment. He's just in a purple patch the way he's going.
Yeah, he's a class act, that is for sure. And I guess what further highlights how well he's going is his age. He's a veteran.
Yeah.
So he's going supremely well. The fourth and final heat for the Stayers, biggest names in there, Fade to Black, Miss Envy, Power Squeeze. Miss Envy's going to be one of the more intriguing runners of the night.
Incredible to watch her run. The 1 week that Gareth takes off on Giddy Up is the 1 week she has a race over 700 metres. He has absolutely not stopped talking about her racing over 700 metres. So she should just win. Shouldn't she? I mean, she hasn't had any form over 700 metres, pardon me, Jace, but if we solely base it on her run home time over 600 metres at Sandown, where she nearly broke the track record, you think she's going to run it out and win this race.
Yeah.
She's won a group race on the track, so she handles the queue too well. If you're going to have a bet, would you rather that at $2.30 than without a trace at $1.50 is probably where you lie. Yeah.
Brisbane Cup heats. It's just the 5. What do you make of that? Because it's
surprised. Yeah.
It's $1 million race, the final, and when you compare it, I mean, it's on the same prize money scale, or at least what the Melbourne Cup used to be. And I think there's a lot of people down here who just throw at the stumps because it's the Melbourne Cup, because the prize money's on the line. You never know what's possible when it comes to races in this game. Do you think there's a lack of people having a crack up there, and that's why we do see a limited amount of heats for what is one of the biggest races of the year?
No, I think the best Queensland dogs are in it. If you think about it, who's out? Probably Dramatical, Distinction, in terms of the best greyhounds in Australia.
The point is the lack. Like down here, we'd have
we'd
probably
have
less interstaters a part of the series, and there's more locals having a crack. Is there just not the depth up there for people to have the confidence to think, right, I'm just going to nominate, because you never know what's possible?
That, and they probably think they can't beat the high end of the high end talent, I'd suggest. Yeah. But there's a lot of local flavour in it, obviously, but they might think they can't beat some of these better greyhounds.
There's some big names throughout it. Cumbria Jack, of course, off the chart. What stands out to you most throughout these heats?
I really like the battle between Ross the Boss and Consigliere. I think that's a cracker. And I think Ross the Boss is drawn to be pretty hard to beat in that race.
I agree.
Again, off the chart's been another one that's been in and out form-wise. Do you go in with a little bit of confidence? Spoke to Darren Pulio, his owner, who said he just didn't travel well in Queensland. That worries me when he goes back there.
So what's his take on them obviously going through the same process again? If he didn't handle it well the first time, do they think he'll handle it better the second?
Yeah, because he trialled 29.29 there, so he has handled going there. So I don't think that's a problem. They would be buoyed by the fact that he came out here on a wet, windy Meadows Saturday and ran 29.71, 17.46 down the back. So it's not an overly hard heat either, Jason. I think he's drawn really well. So I don't think there's any excuses for him. Second favourite is Vista Weird, who's at $4.80, who's not predominantly a very good beginner. I mean, you don't want him on your hammer, but off the chart should be off and gone, shouldn't he? So the other interesting runner is Winsome Jet, who I think was value at $10 pre-post, but he's just drawn so awkwardly in box 8. But he is, along with Cumbria Jack, pound for pound, the best two greyhounds racing at the queue at the moment. I mean, both of them have been quite extraordinary in the last couple of starts. So he's been kept safe at around $2.40, but he can't make a mistake. He's got He's a Pearl, Zipping Lee, keep rolling in the race. It's not an easy race. Dacey's Rory, probably not the Dacey's Rory we know and love. He's at $10, but he's an absolute star in his own right.
Yeah, and plenty of other Victorians littered through it as well. You mentioned Vista Weird, keep rolling, goes around in the last heat, so plenty willing to have a crack up there.
The interesting runner, obviously, is Cumbria Jack in the first heat, and I've harped on how they've taken him over 600, and you often see trainers do that to try to get them some confidence out of the box, Jace. Now, he's going to need that from box 5. I wouldn't be taking the $1.50, but we'll know with Cumbria Jack within the first 50 metres. I mean, if he lobs first or second, it's game over. But if he starts getting into a little bit of trouble, it might start to become a little bit problematic for him. So very interesting.
And I'm heading up there as well.
Beautiful.
To Brisbane, so looking forward to that.
Are you on the same flight as that guy that won that Healesville Big Freeze thing? Or
He was from Northern Queensland or something, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he would come back down and, Frosty would work it out.
He would work it out, that's for sure. Mason Kaufman, about our conversation about Paw Matic before. This is great information. I absolutely love this. She's probably a kilo heavier than we would like. Just missed the start last couple and can't afford to do that in high-grade races. Trip to Sydney last week matured her a fair bit. He's followed up with, I think she will come good by maturity time. And one more as well, her run 3 back at Sandown, ran home in 10.50. She's going well just without any luck. And it's sort of hard to debate that point of view, I think.
Yeah, and if she finds the top and she gets home in 10.50, well, she starts winning again. So, yeah.
And it highlights the fact it is bloody hard in good races down here week to week.
Look, Queensland has probably, overtaken WA for quality greyhounds, you'd suggest, like in terms of pound for pound.
The top line?
Yeah. But from the dogs I've sent to Queensland, nothing compares to what they race down here. This is next level. And you mentioned a dog like King of Snake, like he would be a 42-30 dog at Sandown, maybe 42-20, and he goes over there and has won a couple and placed in a couple of races. So there's a big gap there. But thanks, Mason. That's really good info.
Yeah, that's outstanding. Some international flavour as we often get here at the show.
Oh, fantastic!
Malik, the same bloke as last time. Sounds like he bowls right arm. Off spin for the
G'day,
Pakistanis.
Mubashir.
Yep, good afternoon to you. Let's move on. We've got 2 Group 1s at Wentworth Park tomorrow night with some Victorian interest as well, particularly from the point of view of retaliation in that Vic Peters final.
Yeah, I said on radio yesterday that Wentworth Park reminds me of a Moonee Valley in the Gallops. It's a horses for courses type track. Some greyhounds just absolutely excel there. Retaliation's form in the lead up provincially was really fast times. Did they expect him to come out and run 29-29? I mean, that's a huge effort. Now, he's got to do it from a wide draw. There's some very good greyhounds, local greyhounds in the race that would be not making it easy for him, but that's very interesting. What about poor Damon from Box 8 at Wentworth Park? No.
Nah, track doesn't suit him.
It's not
whatsoever.
his type of track on paper, is it?
No.
But his run last week was pretty good.
Nah,
so,
he'll be best suited to Sandown, I think, than secondary here at the Meadows. That'll be his go. He's like a Yachi Bale type, but with less early speed.
We're still on 600 metre watch for him.
Yes.
You know, the funny thing is we said the same about Yachi Bale. Can't wait to see him over 600. He never really excelled over 600 metres, did he?
It's funny how that happens.
It's funny, yeah. I mean, he ran down an elite field of greyhounds in that Melbourne Cup, and you thought, wait, when he gets over 600, he's going to be unstoppable. But he sort of was just so-so.
You're sort of better suited to being one pace, don't you, in that sort of situation, as opposed to that burst. It just doesn't seem to translate sometimes. But we'll hold our breath and see what happens there. We had a text come in on Wednesday afternoon. This is from Ash, who's a great contributor to the show. Isn't retaliation flying since Josh Formosa got him? I'm intrigued how he moved from Awesome Lodge. Can you shed any light on it? So there's an article at the moment, Ash, on the GRV website or in the Watchdog app where Molly Haynes, courtesy of your message that you text in, found out the latest about retaliation. So make sure you head there to find out more. But he's having a pretty good run, Joshy Formosa. A lot of ambition, buying dogs for decent prices, and you can't knock him for having a dip and the success he's having at this point in time.
Love people that put their money where their mouth is in this industry. There are a lot of people who, everyone's got a right to their opinion, but there's a lot of people who have opinions in this sport and don't put their hands in their own pocket. And Josh is certainly not one of those. I also love the article that Molly wrote about the young generation of greyhounds coming through. I thought that was a really good article online. So if you want to check that out on the GRV website, that was fantastic.
And that was based around young greyhounds coming through the ranks, and whether it's recency bias as opposed to reality. Have you got a take on that?
Well, I think
I'm a believer in recency bias in this caper. Every time some dog comes through and dominates for 3 or 4 starts, we think, they're going to be a star. We say it every time, and it rarely plays out that way.
I'm going to counter that by saying that I think we had a bit of a lull, and I look at it sometimes from a lens of what dogs do I want to use at stud for some of the brood bitches, and I think there was a little bit of a lull there for a little while. But now there's a couple that are racing that I would absolutely have a crack at. It's the old adage that a lot of breeders say, let someone else work out if they're going to be good stud dogs. I don't want to use an unproven sire. But I would roll the dice with a few of these that are racing now for sure.
Yeah, it's a good conversation to have. That is for sure. And speaking of dogs coming through the ranks, doing some good things, I mentioned at the start of the show, we're going to recap what happened at Horsham last Friday night. Feels like ages ago now. So there's been a conversation that you've had since on SEN on Wednesday morning. So this is organised crime winning the Horsham Cup last week from Box 5, and he absolutely put him away. But the conversation that you had on Wednesday with Miles Fitzner was, what is he worth? And I guess it's relevant to this discussion about whether recency bias is overwhelming compared to reality. But what sort of figure, in response to Miles, would you put on organised crime at this point in time?
So that's the beauty. I mean, we love Gareth, but that's the beauty of having someone like Miles who has a thoroughbred background. So his knowledge on greyhound racing, he would admit, is not as high as what you and I would be. He said, what is he worth? 70, 80,000? Now, to you and I, we would laugh at that and go, absolutely not. And I put out a figure. I'm not saying that people are going to offer this, but I said, he might be worth $500,000 as a dog. Now, I spoke to a couple of greyhound people since, and a couple of people agreed with me and said, I don't think that's too outlandish. One bloke said, you're kidding yourself. It's not worth that. And I'm not suggesting that he's the best greyhound of all time or the best greyhound we've ever seen, but what price do you put on a dog like that, Jace, who's a son of Bernardo out of Easy Choice, who's a sister of Hooked on Scotch? So if you look at it from a breeding point of view...
I was just about to say, because 500 sounds ridiculous to me.
Yes.
I know you can think about earning potential from a racing career, and he might earn 500, who knows? But then you're square if you're paying 500. But you're looking at it from a different lens in that if he goes to stud, there's obviously opportunities that open up there.
Two lenses: his racing ability and what he's able to win. And he hasn't won a city race, by the way. Let's be honest. And what he might make at stud. Now, I'm looking at it from a stud point of view. You probably couldn't get many better bred greyhounds than him. Interestingly, I rocked up to Sandown with a female that was on season, and who was sitting there? Darren Pullio sitting there. I think he was with Hooked on Scotch, and I actually said on radio, I think your dog's worth 500,000. He said, well, I'll tell you, I wouldn't sell him if someone offered me that money. Now, Darren's in a position probably where he doesn't need the cash. If it was you or I, $500,000 is a lot of bloody money for a greyhound. But so I suppose my question to you is, it's really hard, isn't it, to put value on these type of dogs?
It is, and particularly when we do have that recency bias as well. I mean, there's no denying he is clearly super fast and at least one of the top 5 fastest dogs in the state, potentially. Yeah. And he's not one that spear the lids. I know we had room and he got going last Friday night, but there's still that question to be answered, how well he handles metropolitan racing.
I've got no doubt he could split at low 5 seconds, though, I think, if he gets the start right. And what gets me and always sticks in my head, Jace, is you were really taken aback with his run home time at the Meadows.
Yeah.
So if you couple that with his speed, and his sister ran 29.59 here, 29.59. I'm not.
Who's his sister?
Red Hot Diva.
Yeah.
So I think the sky's the limit. He's got a long way to go, and I'm really, really sorry to the Nolan family for putting all this pressure on. But I just looked at it from a pedigree point of view, and some of my own girls, and they would match beautifully with him. He's almost identically bred to Pass the Buck, who was another greyhound that we've seen as an absolute star in terms of speed. But this dog, there's something special here. Yeah.
Remember that time we highlighted Deadly Cool and the Nolan boys got in the chat?
Yeah.
And Michelle got involved and said they should be working. Yeah. They're obviously working right now.
Good.
Because they'd be getting involved, no doubt.
Good. Well, good luck with the dog. I mean, sky's the limit. But I don't like making outlandish comments just for the sake of it, but I just think he's not worth 100,000. You know, I don't know. They wouldn't sell him for 200. I don't know what you'd sell a dog like that for. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, looking forward to how his career progresses. In terms of good quality racing, at least here in Victoria, we move on to the Meadows tomorrow night. There was 3 races that we thought that were of pretty strong interest, and that's led by race 8, which is the free-for-all. We see Whispered is going pretty well. Sharapova Star, Distinction, Tribeca. This is a pretty good contest, and it is just fierce. Fierce when it comes to early speed.
If there's one dog Distinction doesn't want to race against, is it Sharapova Star? Because of the early speed battle that could just...
It could have 2 dogs break 5.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
But I mean, it sets the race up for something on their hammer, doesn't it? I don't know. It's an interesting race.
Who is that?
Yeah, I mean...
Whispered, Prison Break gets home well. Hot Nanu is a bit of an all-rounder. Tribeca's probably not going to storm home. If box draws were reversed and Tribeca had the red, you would load up in this race, for me personally, because I think he'd just get the perfect sit behind the 2 girls. But that's a cracking race. It is. Yeah, looking forward to that. The following race is pretty good too. Giacomo comes up with box one and inside draws. He's been starved of for at least the second half of his career. Bold Sight, who I'm a big fan of, one of yours, who's had no luck whatsoever with draws, and that continues tomorrow night. What's your take on his chances?
Yeah, just the box draw again. I mean, I understand completely what Jeff's doing. He's back into a grade 5, but it's not essentially a grade 5, is it? I mean,
it's on the stronger side, that's for sure.
Giacomo's won $250,000 and Amron Dancer has run low 29 seconds at Sandown. So, yeah, it's going to be tough for him.
And then the other one is race 6 over the 600 metres. Amron Toy from box 1, and he looks the logical leader, which is going to be interesting to see how he handles that. He meets Fleeing, who went well at Sandown last Thursday, so that's going to be a race worth watching.
Yeah, Fleeing went 9.13 to the post the first time at Sandown, which you would think a replica of that at the Meadows would have him right up close as well.
For sure.
But we all know the quality of Amron Toy. That's a good race.
Yep, indeed it is. Tips for the Meadows tomorrow night. What have
Yes.
you identified on the card there?
Okay, there's a couple that I like. Okay, there's 3 in particular. Let me just get it up here. You'd think I'd have it up, Jace. I nearly did.
I'm not sure how you do this, where you sort of edit your PDFs and that. I'm not sure whether it's
so
something
good.
I should be doing.
You got that pen here. It's brilliant. All right. Race 3, number 1, Inclination. I think it'll be short, but it should just be winning. We'll start with that. Race 3, number 1. Race 5, number 2, Nancy DeVere. I think has a bit of a drop in class. Been racing against Tribeca, Radar O'Reilly, who franked the form yesterday. Paul Waverley, these type of greyhounds. I think this is an easier race. And I like race 11, number 8, Tarback. Greyhound that really wants the
I
wide
made a
draw.
fool of myself last week.
He won last
Corey
week.
Smith was in your seat. He said he's the best bet of the night. I said he's the lay of the week.
Well, I thought it'd be problematic from box 1 because he uses a bit of the track.
He ran 30 and 40. There was nothing there to challenge him.
I know. And it's a funny run, 30 and 40, because he's broken 30 at
Yeah.
the Meadows. So I think he'd be very hard to beat off the pink. His record off wide draws has been good. He ran second behind Dustin. He ran 29.94 when Dustin ran 29.96. A replica of that. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think the dog's still learning how to race. He's won 3 out of 14, so doesn't strike me as a huge winner, but I'm keen to back Tarback. I think he's the best dog in the race.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Ferrugia Files, what have you got coming up over the next few days? Is Johnny Football in Australia yet?
He comes next month.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we have Hot Tub for the Get On Boys, who I think will get beaten. I think he'll lead, but I think the greyhound in box 2 has been back from $2.80.
Hang on, where is this? What race?
Sorry, race 10, number 1 at Geelong to this evening. Race 11, number 2, Cora Mack, I think is a bit of a chance. I've got Boulder Sale, race 9, number 2 in the Winter Cup at Bendigo tonight. Probably each way odds there. What else do we have? We have In Bloom against Fleeing and Amron Toy. I think she'll struggle.
That's race 6.
Race 6,
tomorrow
number
night.
8. Race 9, number 5, Bold Sight. I think Giacomo would win that race. I think my best chance is on Monday, race 8, number 8, Joni Black over the 650.
Where?
Shepparton, sorry.
Okay.
Shepparton, race 8, number 8. Sorry, I keep forgetting to say what venue it
You're
is.
on a different wavelength to
Oh,
everyone
I'm
else.
so
You're
sorry,
a step
mate.
ahead, my friend. Okay, before we get to the obscure outlay, and you're really keen to get involved with this obscure outlay. Now, as I've spoken about in recent weeks, I lay in bed, watch YouTube, and watch probably things that not many people would be watching. Last night, I tuned into a last 10 minutes of a Sydney and Essendon game back in 2001, which was a thriller.
You got too much time on your hands.
Colonial Stadium was absolutely jumping because the Bombers were coming back and ended up winning. But I noticed the skill set here of Andrew Dunkley. I thought, how far have skills come in this game? One,
He's
and
potting
two,
one of his
how
own,
do
yeah?
you get a game in the AFL kicking like this? Look at this. He gets the pill here. He's got the double-handed drop.
He's dropped it like a hot potato.
Looks like he's 8 years old. Look at this.
It's fantastic.
Your son would have a better kicking action than that.
Absolutely. Good player. He was a good player for you guys, wasn't
Well, luckily his son's got better skills, or at least a kicking
he?
routine that's
You
better
reckon
than
he'd be
that.
embarrassed of his dad if he see
Yeah.
that footage back? Goodness gracious, mate.
All right, obscure outlay. You want to target the World Cup? The footy's on. As always, there's no shortage of sport going on around the world.
We're going a 5-legger, 5-leg multi. Argentina to beat Cabo Verde. Colombia to beat Ghana. Sydney to beat the Western Bulldogs tonight. Adelaide to beat West Coast. And Gold Coast to beat Collingwood. So Argentina, Colombia, Sydney, Adelaide, Gold Coast. We get nearly $4.60.
What price are Gold Coast? Are they outsiders?
$1.70.
$1.70.
They'll beat
Okay.
Collingwood, I think.
That'll be
They have
interesting.
been absolutely hung, drawn, and quartered in the media. And we always say that, and it sort of hasn't really worked this year. There's been a couple of teams that have copped it in the media and still lost, but I think Gold Coast will beat Collingwood at home.
Essendon, are they part of that?
Who are they playing?
I don't know. They've copped it all year and done.
I think they got
Sweet
Carlton,
F4.
don't they? I think Josh Fraser's going for 7 in a row.
Yeah, that's just amazing.
Does he
isn't
look
it?
like he wants to be there? You see how he just walks out? He's just so nonchalant, isn't he, Josh Fraser?
Yeah,
He's
but
just-
I think we
he's
need a
just-
bit of that.
He's so
Things
relaxed.
can be so structured and people take themselves too seriously. And
Can someone put a heart monitor on him and Chris Scott, perhaps? It's just the
Chris
difference.
Scott's was through the roof last night.
Did you see how he threw that phone?
I got the notification from the AFL talking about that, but I haven't seen it
This
yet.
poor guy had to come and hook a new phone up and not worried that he was going to get belted. It was hilarious.
Speaking of the World Cup, you wanted to mention something to me about Luke Littler,
Yeah,
darting megastar.
Yeah, so you keep rabbiting on about he's a champion, one of the best you've ever seen. Is it fair to
Oh,
say?
I've been following darts for probably 4 years, but yeah.
Is he the GOAT? Close.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
outside of having a resume as deep as the likes of Phil Taylor, at least from a raw ability point of view, he looks to be one of the best ever.
Okay, well, I'm going to disappoint you here. There's a show on Netflix every day that covers all the World Cup games, and Gary Lineker used to be an old player for England. He hosts it. He has special guests all the time. At the end of the show, they have speed darts, and they had Luke Littler on, and he's not even at the top of the leaderboard against soccer players, movie stars, singers. How do you not win that tournament? Like he's like third or fourth. I couldn't believe it. I said, I've got to bring this up to Jason because every time I ask you, he's won another tournament. You can't even beat
I don't
just
know.
the local.
It's funny.
folk.
Sometimes they do like challenges or whatever, or exhibitions or
Yeah.
whatnot, and they're just a shade off, and then they get on stage and turn it on, which is what the elite sportsmen do. Hey, speaking of elite sportsmen, how about the former Ben Stokes during the week? This is
What the
something.
hell was that?
This is something you'd be strong on. What the hell is he doing? Retires during the game, opens the batting when they've got an amount that might be a chance of running down, and he starts teeing off and goes out.
But even worse than that, he made that speech in the dressing room to announce his retirement and said it's always been about the team, it's always been about winning, and then he comes out and turns it into a slugfest.
That stinks.
I cannot wait for our Victorian bowler Fergus O'Neill to, because they're off their heads at the moment for losing to New Zealand because when a wicketkeeper comes up to the stumps, they don't know how to handle it. They need to bat in their crease. So come on, Fergus. And then we might head over there and do a grey areas from Lords. Can we do that next year?
Oh, if we get a sponsor,
How's the fun
can
bit?
Darren Pulio chip in?
Absolutely. Oh, Locksmith's O'Brien.
Courtesy of Rams Locksmith.
Yeah,
we get a few padlocks on the table
He
here.
said business was good. He did
He
say
did.
that.
Thanks to the crime rate. He loves it. He loves it.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway, that's a wrap for Grey Areas. Georgie, enjoy your weekend and best of luck with the Ferrugia Files as always.
Good luck for the Swans tonight, mate.
Yes, we'll see what happens there. Enjoy what will be a really good night at Q2 Parklands tomorrow night. And as always, go the Vicks. That's a wrap for Grey Areas. We'll catch you same time, same place next Friday.